Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Esteemed FaceTime with Leaders, an initiative by World Development Corporation. I'm Sunny Pancholi, anchor at World Development Corporation. FaceTime with Leaders is a platform for industry titans to share their experiences, thoughts, ideas, and best practices in order to inspire one another and future leaders. In a nutshell, we attempt to encapsulate the multi-decadal learnings acquired by these industry leaders. We also hope that by conducting these FaceTime with Leaders interviews, we can bring together a global community of eminent personalities. And by bringing together such visionaries on one platform, we hope to play a part in inspiring the lives of other leaders. Great learnings from great leaders undoubtedly assist everyone by identifying, nurturing, and using the trade secrets that are proven success formulas for many. And this is what we aim for with these sessions, by making them a gathering of industry stalwarts and a knowledge-sharing community. We have one such industry stalwart on FaceTime with Leaders with us today, Mr. Bharath Sondur. He is an accomplished and result-driven executive with a distinguished career spanning over 2 decades, characterized by his transformative leadership in the financial services sector. As a seasoned chief business officer, senior advisor, and multifaceted leader, he has consistently demonstrated a rare blend of strategic vision, operational acumen, and people management skills. In his most recent role as Chief Business Officer at Arohan Financial Services, he spearheaded the entire microfinance business vertical, overseeing diverse functions such as products, processes, cross-sell, and BC business. Welcome to FaceTime with Leaders, Mr. Sondur.
Good morning, Sunny. Thank you so much for the kind words during the introduction. Just a clarification, I just completed about 30 years in BFSI, that's in Banking and Financial Services. And thanks to WDC to conduct this World Directors Institute, having taken this initiative to get professionals from different industries to get certified so that they can add on to the independent directors kind of a role and add significant value to the corporates who hire them.
So, Mr. Sondur, our viewers would like to know in brief about your career journey so far.
Sure, Sunny, my pleasure. I would like to thank you again and World Directors Institute. Sunny, I've been a career banker. It's been about 30 years in banking industry and financial services. I started my career with State Bank of Travancore. It's a state bank group, a bank, way back in '93. I started my career as a teller. I'm sure you must have seen earlier state banks where tellers used to sit, right? The cashier used to sit, a small pigeonhole kind of a cubicle, closed environment and stuff like that. Started my career from there. Of course, at that point of time, we as graduates or aspiring bankers didn't have much of an option at that point of time. So at that point of time, you have to go through your banking services recruitment board to get selected into banking. While I had other options to pursue like police services and civil services and stuff like that, and even defense services, my parents were not too keen. So they said that we didn't have anybody from our family in banking. Why don't you become the first one to join banking? I think I started my career as a banker like that. I was not at all happy when I joined banking. But today, when I look back, if somebody says, I will give you 3 or 4 times what you earn today in a different industry, I may not take it because I prefer to continue in banking. That's the passion we develop. Not for any other reason, because we enjoy what you do. And as long as you enjoy what you do, money should not be a issue at all. So that's how my career started. Worked with State Bank for about 4.5 years. Then at that point of time, post-economic liberalization, there were quite a few private sector banks started coming up in '93 and '94. So I was so attracted towards private banks because I was looking at my career in a fast-paced manner. So I said, okay, public sector banks, you will have kind of a limitations in your career prospects. I said, why don't I take it, why don't I try my hand in private banks? So that's how I joined a private bank called Global Trust Bank. A couple of years there, worked in Mysore and Coorg for initial career. Then when HDFC Bank started my operations in Mysore, I was the first branch manager in Mysore for HDFC Bank. So that point of time, today HDFC Bank, probably one of the largest banks in the world, 5th or 6th largest bank in the world. When I joined HDFC Bank, we had hardly 26 branches across the country. And Mr. Puri, who used to be the MD CEO then, used to take our quarterly reviews. So you can imagine what kind of interaction we used to have. Worked with HDFC Bank for about 6 years. initially as a branch manager. Then I was heading Karnataka for branch banking for HDFC Bank. Then I moved to ING Vysya Bank, which is a Bangalore-based private bank at that point of time. Worked with them for a couple of years. I used to head mega region of Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu. Then for career options, I wanted to move to Bahrain with one of the banks in Bahrain. But unfortunately, that did not happen. And for due to my family pressure, I kind of moved back to Bangalore at that point of time. Joined IndusInd Bank as part of the new management team. I was heading Karnataka for IndusInd Bank for a year on consumer banking side. Then I moved to Gujarat for another year. Again, I had to move back to Bangalore after a year or so. Then I took a short break in my career. I joined Janalakshmi Financial Services, which used to be an NBFC at that point of time. Later on, it became an NBFC MFI, and we turned into an SFB over a period of time. I worked with Jana. That was my first stunt into asset side, lending side of business, particularly on the micro lending side. We work with poor women across the country. So I was part of the management team in Jana, worked for about 4 years in Bangalore. I used to head south. When we wanted to expand to other parts of the country, as part of that movement, I moved to Delhi. I was managing North, Central, and East, as well as Northeast as well. Probably, if you ask me, that's my turning point in my career because I am always a retail banker, consumer banking side. Never had liability side, never had exposure to micro lending. That was my first stunt, and that industry is an amazing learning experience. If you ask me, before joining microfinance industry in Jana, I didn't know what micro lending is, and the delinquencies of less than 100 basis point is like an eye opener for me, and that too from a segment who struggle to meet, fight to meet their ends on a daily basis. That's a great learning. Moved to Delhi during demonetization. It was a big hit for us. We struggled quite a bit, but if you and I struggled through those 1.5 to 2 years period professionally. But if I look back today, it's a great learning experience, and it builds so much of confidence that any challenges, any crisis in life, you actually take it head on. That's the kind of confidence it gave me. Then I moved to Bombay, worked with Suryoday Small Finance Bank. Again, NBFC MFI turned into an SFB as the CBO, Chief Business Officer for Retail Bank. Also managed retail lending, that's a micro lending for some time. My last assignment was with Arohan, based in Calcutta, as a Chief Business Officer, handling the entire microfinance business and stuff like that. But I took a short break. I thought I'll take a break for a year and be with family and support my son in his studies and his career. So instead of sitting idle at home, I thought I'll do something for the society and community. This is my passion has been throughout. So I got a right opportunity. Government of Karnataka started a new initiative called Indian Administrative Fellowship Program. It's called as IAF program. We are hired at the additional secretary grade in the state government, equivalent to an IAS officer. But of course, we are not into full-time service. It's only a 18 months program based on our skill sets, based on our experience and expertise, and of course our interest. They assign us to a department in the state, within the state government. We'll work very closely with the senior IAS officers. I work with additional chief secretary of Government of Karnataka on the skill development side. There are two departments. One is on the skill development, Karnataka Skill Development Corporation. Other one is National Livelihood Mission. So National Livelihood Mission runs a lot of SHG programs, self-help group programs, which is nothing but microfinance programs, which I worked in my last 12, 15 years of my career. In the last 10 years, there I help them to design, monitor, process changes, monitoring those bank linkages for SHGs and stuff like that, which I do. On the skill development side, I get the industry connect for all these SHGs, SHG producers and stuff like that. That's the market linkage. On the skill side, I get the corporate connect because obviously the unemployed youth need jobs, right? So we certify them, skill them, upskill them. Either they can pursue their entrepreneurial ambitions or they get into jobs. So I brought in almost having worked in many banks and MFIs and NBFCs, I know most of them. So you'll have to get those companies to come and start hiring from the state. Approximately about 480,000 graduates come out of colleges in Karnataka every year. 90% of them don't get placement. So my job is to create that employment opportunity, entrepreneurial ambitions to pursue so that we can drive them. And of course, bank lending will definitely help. The significant changes in my career and the learnings, obviously, from a teller in State Bank, I reached a CBO level, which works with the MD, and the board members. That's I consider myself as fortunate because I got the right breaks at the right time. I took right decisions at the right time. While not all the decisions would be great to begin with, but when I look back today, there are great learnings. It helps me to, for me, to become a, I won't say successful professional. I would say you will become much more professional, much more matured, much more balanced in your approach. So that's how me in my career. So currently I'm pursuing this fellowship. Last 6 7 months I'm working with Government of Karnataka. It's a great exposure in altogether because having worked in banks, you only deal with some customers, right? Some HNI customers in bank. In microfinance, you work with the lowest strata of the society. And I strongly believe government is the biggest corporate, right? Irrespective of how many people we manage in corporates and how much business we manage, how many crores. But if you look at state, Karnataka state itself, its budget allocations about 300,000 crores per annum. So, and look at the population size, we work with 6.5 crores of population. That's the great opportunity. While working with government is not easy, it has its own inherent challenges. But if you can kind of drive through those challenges, it's a great learning.
Amazing. Mr. Sondur, thank you for the excellent start to this interview. And I must say, your career journey is truly inspiring.
Thank you so much. Thank you, son.
So, continuing our conversation, our viewers would like to know, what do you consider your biggest professional contribution?
Biggest professional contribution. See, I've learned something on my own. It's all self, kind of self-learning. What I feel is that today the youth has a lot of options open, a lot of opportunities open, and most importantly, the awareness aspect is excellent. When I was young and I wanted to start my career, there's nobody to help. There's nobody to guide me, nobody to advise me what to do, how to do, where to go, and stuff like that. Today, that's not the case. If you open Google, you have opportunities. Universe itself gets open. If I can go back and contribute to my society, my community, my state, and my country, that's the biggest achievement I can say. Throughout my career, what I did was I groomed people for their career. So today I can proudly say I have recruited management trainees and fresh graduates. Let's say as latest as in 2020 and 2021, they have gone to the next at least 2 levels above what they are supposed to be in. I take that as my contribution to whatever organization, whatever society, whatever community I live in. Not in terms of money, definitely, but definitely in grooming people for their better future, guide them, mentor them. And as long as you become an inspiration for them, I think that itself is the biggest contribution which anyone could do. Son.
That sounds exceptional. So, building on to that, you have been honored with the Scotch Financial Inclusion Award as one among the top 50 financial inclusion projects in India for 2011. So, could you let our viewers know more about your pursuits?
Definitely. There are a couple of points I would like to add, Sunny. Financial inclusion has been very close to my heart. If you ask me, I think that's the reason why I moved from the regular consumer retail banking side to the financial inclusion space into microfinance space. When RBI introduced financial inclusion way back in 2005 and 2006, I was part of the ING Bank, HDFC and ING Bank. I drove that financial inclusion through my branches. We had quite a few rural branches. We even appointed individual business correspondent. Today, business correspondent is a big industry. But at that point of time, nobody knew what's a business correspondent because it was a newly introduced concept. We even engaged postmen in villages to go and do account opening for these poor people across the country, across the state at that point of time. When, of course, Jan Dhan Yojana came post India government in 2015, 15, 16, before demonetization, it actually came as a systematic approach. But we did it in 2005 and 2006 itself. That point of time, the bank was awarded an award by then Governor of Karnataka, Honorable Governor of Karnataka, as an outstanding financial inclusion champion for financial inclusion. 2011, when I was part of Jana, we innovated in the sense, earlier, microfinance lending as well as recovery collections used to happen through cash. As you know, cash has its own limitations and challenges. What we did with Jana was we engaged with a private sector bank, Axis Bank. We opened the bank accounts for all our micro lending customers for the first time in the industry. Post Jan Dhan Yojana, all that happened systematically. But we visualized it in 2010 and 2011. We drove it as a project. Hence, we were awarded as one of the best financial inclusion projects in India, top 50 by the Scotch. That is another one. Also, with all this learning, I could implement in other organizations like Jana, Surya, as well as Arohan. In 2011, 2021, and 22, I was awarded the Best Chief Business Officer Award by CEO Inside Magazine.
Amazing. Mr. Sondur, now that, so that we have discussed your career journey, your professional pursuits, roles and responsibilities, and your accomplishments, let's dive into the subject of ESG and corporate governance. So here is my question to you, and a very obvious one. What
Sure.
piqued your interest in ESG and corporate governance?
See, we all been industry within the industry for some time. Of course, banking is like a mother industry for everybody because everybody needs banking facilities. Everybody needs a bank there to grow and to sustain the business. What we have seen, it's not only in the other industries like manufacturing or technology or services industry, even in BFSI, banking and financial services, what happens is at some point of time you need professionals to run the organizations, not necessarily at the KMP level, key management person level, at the CEO and key management, senior management members, but even at the board level. We have seen quite a few examples. I don't want to name anyone, even the larger banks in the last decade or so, we have seen corporate governance is failing for many reasons. One, obviously, it becomes one man up man show. So the MD, CEO, or the founder tries to drive their own agenda and things. Not everybody does it, but there are exceptions. But these exceptions can actually dent an economy of the country itself. So what is ESG? So I'll come to ESG first and then go to corporate governance. What is ESG? Obviously, ESG is, and everybody knows this, right? Environmental, social, and governance factors. Why do you need it in our industries or in the boards? Because it helps us in reducing agency problems. It helps the board to improve their monitoring function and ensure the business impact doesn't contribute to environmental degradation or human right abuses. That's why ESG is very, very important. Today, through ESG, many corporates can go back and raise equity. Investors can be attracted. It helps in growing the business on a sustainable basis. It actually helps that organization's ecological footprint. It contributes positively for their reputation and stakeholder relationship. So there are many, many positive factors because of ESG, right? So you need to be a champion. Today, if I look at India, there are so many corporates, so many boards, and so many board members, but not everybody knows about ESG and the corporate. They must be doing it out of their vintage, out of their experience, out of their knowledge. But if you give it a systematic approach, that is when everything changes. I'll give a classic example of cricket. Cricket is one game which everybody loves in the country, right? At least in Indian subcontinent. Initially, Test cricket used to be the flavor of the game at that point of time. T20 and one day came in much later. What used to happen? India used to depend a lot on all-rounders, right? And every team used to do. It's not about only India alone. Everybody used to depend on all-rounders. But today, if you look at the T20 matches and today's flavor in terms of cricket as a game, you have specialist batsmen, specialist bowlers, and at best one or two all-rounders. You will not have many all-rounders in today's scene. If you look at 1983 World Cup and 2020 23 World Cup, so many changes. Technology has come in. Technology in industries is a must. So you need to invest there. And specialists are required. Somebody who understands batting well. There are people like Sanat Jayasuriya, Ramesh Kaluvitarana, Krishnamacharya Srikanth. They changed the concept of opening batsmen. Right? They were nowhere. Suddenly they become opening partners or opening batsmen and started hitting everybody out of the ground. So what happened was everybody started focusing there. So you need specialists to open, specialist middle orders, specialist bowlers, whether it is pace bowler or a spin bowler, at best one or two all-rounders. I'm collaborating, I'm kind of correlating between what it is in cricket, which is a famous example everybody can relate to, and what is in corporate governance. Corporate governance is not about only your experience and expertise. It's also about what's happening in the industry. What are the best practices? What are the ESG practices we can follow so that we can attract investors, different stakeholders? So a lot many things are involved in this. So which is why ESG and corporate governance are very, very important. To come back to corporate governance, it encourages effective decision making through three P's. What are those three P's? One is policy, second one is practices, Third one is processes. So it also becomes a first line of defense against any allegation or malpractice or dereliction of corporate duty, which is why ESG as well as corporate governance are very, very important.
So, as an ESG and corporate governance expert, what values do you bring to the table?
See, as a professional, I have my own positive, strong points, right? Whether it is expertise in banking, financial services, financial inclusion, driving the digital initiatives, and things like that. These are all professional skill sets. If I can bring in ESG and corporate governance skill sets, I become a complete professional and I'll definitely add value. When I say I, it's not me, but as an independent director, anybody in this community will add value to that. It could be somebody from professional background, from let's say manufacturing background, somebody from HR background. He or she will bring in HR practices plus ESG awareness plus the corporate governance aspects. So it becomes kind of a holistic package. If any corporate is looking for an independent director to add value, see, nobody will hire an independent director for namesake. Gone are those days where I like somebody, I like somebody's face, so I had that gentleman or lady to board member. Those days are gone. Today, as an independent director, I need to add value. I need to bring in substantial value on the table. If I don't, obviously, I don't stand a chance to win. Right. So as professional etiquettes, professional skill sets, other apart from certification with ESG and corporate governance, I become a fully packaged. It's a full-fledged package for any industry or any organization to hire me as an independent director.
Amazing. So, Mr. Sondur, our viewers would like to know what are some of the most remarkable changes you have seen in your field with changes in technology? That is part of the question. And what changes do you expect to see with the advent of IoT, AI, ML, blockchain, big data, Web 3.0, etc., etc.?
On the technology side, I'm a strong believer of technology, but with a caution that you need to use technology to your advantage rather than becoming slave of technology. That's very, very important. See, we all talk about artificial intelligence, but we forget about natural intelligence. Because, so it becomes natural stupidity if you don't focus on your natural intelligence. Human brain, irrespective of what technology is available, human brain calculates much faster than a supercomputer. Our eyesight is probably 1,000 megapixel camera compared to any camera which is available in the world, right? But we still depend on it. That's different. That's on the lighter side. But yes, technology is important. Irrespective of whichever the organization or industry I work, we ensure that we focus on technology because while I understand it adds cost in the initial phase, it increases the operation OPEX to begin with, but over a period of time to sustain the growth and to grow quickly, that helps. One of the organization where I work, the industry, that was the first time ever I was in that industry. So people used to tease that organization saying that you are a top-heavy industry and tech-oriented industry, tech-oriented institution. People used to laugh at saying that why do you want to invest so much in technology? Because you're not a bank. We said, no, we want to become a bank one day. That's secondary. But we want to sustain this. We want to have better control in the business so that we use technology. So with the advent of technology, with the advantage of what we had, while I was sitting in Bangalore or Delhi or Mumbai or Calcutta, I know exactly what was the collections happened by the end of the day, during the day, how much disbursements have been done, which customer has repaid, which customer defaulted, all that at my fingertips. My dashboard on my laptop or the computer, the TV screen I had, used to get updated, refreshed every 2 hours. And it's possible to refresh it for every transaction, but it takes so much of load. So we said, okay, we'll refresh every 2 hours. We don't need the numbers every second, right? We are not in an industry where we need that. That's the advantage you get. I know exactly by sitting in Bangalore, whether Begusarai, the Bihar, has that meeting center which is outskirts of the city, which that customers, there are 15 ready customers who only 13 of them have paid and 2 of them have not paid, and they are not coming to the meeting center for the last 3 months. That information is available at my fingertips only because of technology. Right? That is point number one. To answer your second set of questions, while I understand Internet of Things, whether it is blockchain, artificial intelligence, then all these terminologies and the technology aspects we use definitely help us in growing the business. I have a customer who is a partner in our business. used to be from Israel, of course. They have a technology where a customer submits a photograph, which is a selfie taken from their phone, submits to us, and basis their photograph, they will project or predict what is the delinquency possibility probability of that particular customer. So we all know credit bureau, right? Credit bureau systems and CBI, credit bureau ratings, credit bureau scores, basis which we assess. But that's historical. While it gives you a view, perception, or a opinion or a prediction, but it doesn't predict the future. But here is technology where looking at your selfie image, the company can tell you that this is the possibility of that particular customer going default in the next 3 months or 6 months. That's the advantage we carry. I know. So last week I was interacting with one of the boards. I was mentioning to them that today I know exactly which district, which district, which taluka, and which gram panchayat, and which village will go default in the next 6 months for various reasons. Of course, there are a lot of use cases. There are a lot of kind of dashboards you use, a lot of prediction algorithms you use. All that is available. That's what possible is because of technology. Well, of course, common sense also says that okay, next month there is an election in, let's say, in one of the states, there could be some disturbances. The general prediction is that there will be a coalition government. It may not be stable. There could be law and order issues. All that is, we understand that. That's common sense. But if I can club it, if I can integrate this with technology, and you can probably get a fair prediction of the future, then you know exactly where to go and where not to go, or whether to go business there or not to business, slow down business. All this is possible because of technology.
All right. Thank you for sharing such amazing insights into different subjects. So this brings us to the last question of the session, and here it is. We are building a community of industry magnates. The move is meant for cross-pollination of knowledge and building a knowledge-sharing community of corporate giants and industry experts. So what are your thoughts about these initiatives taken by Mr. Zishan Pathan, Mr. Heval Mehta, and the team of World Development Corporation?
No, I should congratulate them in the first place that they have taken this initiative. While anybody can become a board member, get the certification from MC and stuff like that, but to do it in a systematic manner on a professional outlook is very, very important. Because the moment you do it, it's like I'm doing an MBA, let's say a postgraduate program in management from an IIM or from a regular college which is university affiliated. Both are MBA program, both are PG programs, but both carry different value, right? Both carry a different weightage. So I am fortunate that I got this opportunity to pursue my program with them. Congratulations to Dishan as well as Heval and the entire team of World Directors Institutes. Phenomenal. While, yes, suddenly after the age of 50, 52, you start reading as if you are a student writing your exams in your teens. But it's a different experience altogether. But learning never stops. Whether you sit and write an exam formally, or you read your newspaper or read some books and acquire knowledge, both are different, but both definitely carry weightage. I'm sure I understand why they do it, and I'm sure that they are very successful. And why, again, as explained by me earlier, we are professionals, right? I'm sure some of my batchmates you will be meeting. We are professionals from various backgrounds. The moment you get a certification with a professional approach, with weightage on ESG, which is industry now, and the corporate governance, we become a full-fledged professionals. Not necessarily in the management side, but definitely on the independent director side. Right? And with the growing regulation, compliance, you need the third parties as independent director community come and give an unbiased view, unbiased conversation, unbiased decisioning, professional approach to all this will help the industries to grow. If the industries grow, the economy grows. If the economy grows, the GDP grows, the country grows, country develops. So soon we become a $5 trillion economy. And that's how we are. It's all little bit of contribution. I can always think that, oh, me alone as an independent director, what value I can add. But boon boon se sagar banti hai, right? So all of us will contribute and add value in our own perspective, in our own area. It adds value. If me alone paying income tax may not survive, may not suffice for the government, but people like me paying income tax or any taxes in a timely manner, it adds to the economy, right? And we grow as a country which is much stronger, which we are. today, I'm proud to say that we are part of India. We are Indians. We are Bharatiyas. So we would like to contribute to our society, our community, our state, and our country.
Great, great. It was fantastic conversing with you, and I'm confident that our insights will inspire future leaders. Thank you, Mr. Sondur, for joining us today. Wish you the best for your future endeavors. Moreover, trust that this initiative by Directors Institute has unquestionably expanded the participants' understanding and enriched their minds.
Thank you so much, Sunny. Very nice meeting you. Have a great day.
Pleasure, sir. Pleasure. Have a nice day.
Thank you. Same to you. Bye-bye.
Bye.